I think it's just a big win for all the team, man. I mean, we've had a rough year, and it's not really because we've been off the pace. It's just been unfortunate circumstances. I've had 2 engine failures, a tyre failure, so it's a good hard-fought win. You know, it kind of split that strategy at the beginning. We picked the strategy to run hard, pull enough of a gap, and a bit dicey at the end there, but yeah, man, just stoked. I've had a great career with Verizon and Penske, so I really enjoy winning for the guys and everyone I've worked with for a long time, so it's awesome.
Congratulations, man. I hope it carries on. Well done.
As you can see, we're going to be talking about willpower and what I think is wrong with willpower and in the IndyCar silly season. So obviously, as you guys just saw, that clip I just showed, willpower's exact words were, I've had a great career with Verizon, had a great career with Penske, I love winning for these guys. So for me, that tells us willpower just completely spoiled the news. He is not coming back to Team Penske next year. I think it's pretty obvious who is replacing him, and that is going to be David Malukas. I don't see anyone else. I don't see a world where that's not David Malukas. That's replacing willpower at Penske. So you can definitely lock in. Penske's going to have Joseph Newgarden, and Scott McLaughlin, and David Malukas, which is crazy to me because Will Power has been Penske's number one driver really ever since 2022. I would say in 2020 and 2021, Joseph was probably Penske's go-to title man. But 2022, Will Power won the championship. He's the only guy to win an IndyCar championship when Alex Palou is in a Ganassi car. Obviously, 2020, Scott Dixon won the championship, and Alex Palou was a rookie that season. But Alex Palou was with Dale Coyne in that number 55 pink car that he was running this year. And then 2021, he came to Ganassi, championship. 2022, Power wins the title, and then 23, 24, and 25, Palou's been in that Ganassi, and he's won the title. So Will Power is honestly the only guy to beat Alex Palou when Alex Palou's had a championship-winning car, which is quite crazy to me. The fact that he's going to 100%, in my opinion, be leaving Team Penske. I don't need to say that to the end of the video. Will Power is 100% leaving Penske, in my opinion. So why is that? Obviously, I've already said how I think he's been the best at Penske, and he's never been treated like a number one driver at Penske, in my opinion. You know, when he joined the team, you know, you had guys like Elio. When he joined, I feel like always feel like they always favored Elio instead of Power. And then I feel like they always favored, when Elio kind of fell off, they favored Montoya instead of Power. And then they brought Joseph in, and it felt like they favored Joseph over Power. And even since 2022, since he's been the best at Penske, he's never gotten, favoritism. It feels like it's always been Joseph. Will Power has never signed that big $5-10 million contract a year. He's never gotten that kind of love. Newgarden has, obviously. Montoya did. Elio did. Simon did. Power's just never gotten the love, and it's honestly quite unfortunate. He's always been a great driver. He's never been the number one driver. He's never been Penske's number one driver, and it's kind of sad to me. So obviously he won the championship in 22, was the second in 23, should have been second last year, but unfortunately the seatbelt issues in Nashville, which led Colton Herta to be second, and then obviously, as we know, this year Penske's had its struggles. So why do I think he's leaving Team Penske? I think it's because of his age. He's too old, and I think Roger Penske thinks this guy maybe has a year or two left in him. I'd rather have David Malukas before another team snaps him up. He did that with Elio. He put Elio as a one-off entry at the Indy 500. He did it with Simon. Simon moved on to Meyer Shank Racing. Why is Will Power not getting the option Elio Castroneves had to be a one-off entry at the Indy 500? He's not good enough in Indy. Quite frankly, Will Power's worst track is probably the Indianapolis 500, and it's his worst race. The only year in my opinion, he's been good, there's 2 years. 2015, where he finished second to Juan Pablo Montoya, and 2018, where he won the race. Those are the only times I can remember Will Power actually being competitive and having a real shot at winning the Indy 500. Correct me down below if I'm wrong about that. I think it's all to do with age, but he's 44 years old. I mean, you don't know how many quality years he has left. Next year he might suck. Who knows? So if Dave Malukas is replacing Will Power at Penske, which I 100% think is going to happen, where does that leave Power to go? Well, I think he's got 3 options. Does he go to AJ Foyt Racing and just do a straight swap with Dave Malukas? Personally, I don't think so. I think if he's going to leave Penske, I think he wants to be completely out of the organization and wants nothing to do with Penske, in my opinion, if he is to leave. So I don't think AJ Foyt's going to be a realistic opportunity for him. And I actually think that AJ Foyt racing seat is going to be one of the most open seats in all of motorsports, because I personally have no idea who's going to go there. Now, the other two teams that I've heard around from people and rumors and speculations is Andretti and Meyer-Shank. Andretti makes a lot of sense with Marcus Ericsson's struggles. David Land said it in his video. Here's his little teaser.
Power, that's the biggest domino of the entire IndyCar offseason, and we're not really sure what's going to happen with him yet. It seems to flip back and forth whether or not he's going to back to Team Penske. This weekend, it's the entire paddock saying that Will Power is not going back to Team Penske. So where will he go? Will he race in IndyCar? I could see him potentially with an A on his suit next year, and maybe with an H as well on there. I don't know. We could see that. We could. Paddock's whispering about it.
So obviously that clip was filmed at Laguna Seca, and if you're going off what David Land said, he's definitely saying that Will Power is going to Andretti. I've not heard that just from him. We've heard that from kind of just whispers and stuff around the paddock. But that's the best example I could give you, that Will Power at Andretti. I think it makes a lot of sense. Marcus Ericsson has had a terrible year. He's 20th in the championship. And can you imagine a lineup of Kirkwood, Herta, and Power, and especially if all three of them are performing at the same time? Pretty scary. And, you know, Marcus Ericsson's an Indy 500 winner. Will Power's an Indy 500 winner with a two-time champ. So you're just getting an upgrade driver, in my opinion. So I think Will Power to Andretti makes a lot of sense. But for me, where do I think he's going? And this is just off speculation, off Meyer-Shank's interview on practice this weekend. I mean, Meyer-Shank's interview at the practice one this weekend. Unfortunately, I searched the whole internet for this and could not find this interview, so I was not able to download it. But essentially, he said, Marcus Ericsson's a great driver, so on and so forth. I hope he has a spot in IndyCar next year. You might be thinking, why would Marcus Ericsson be leaving Meyer-Shank Racing? And that's what I said to myself, and then I talked to my friend, and he 100%, my friend on the inside of the paddock, who 100% thinks Will Power is going to take Marcus Armstrong's seat at Meyer-Shank Racing. And if I'm a betting man right now, Will Power is going to drive the number 66 at Meyer-Shank next year, which is crazy to me to think about. But if I'm a betting man right now, Will Power is going to Meyer-Shank Racing, is going to be teaming up with Felix Rosenqvist to take that team to the whole next level. And this is just off the top of my head, I believe. But I believe Meyer-Shank could be the only team with two Indy 500 winners on their team next year, because Penske would only have one with Newgarden. We don't know about Andretti. McLaren have none. Meyer-Shank could have the most Indy 500 winners next year if they signed Will Power. I think it makes sense for Meyer-Shank, honestly. If I was Meyer-Shank, I would fire Felix Rosenqvist and not Marcus Armstrong. I think Marcus Armstrong has more potential. But I think Marcus Armstrong would find a seat somewhere else. If say Armstrong and let's just go back to Andretti. Say Andretti, Zach Ericsson for Power. Where does Ericsson land? He could obviously take a seat at Foyt. I don't think he'd go to Foyt. I think Ray Hall replacing Devlin DeFrancesco makes a lot of sense. Maybe he takes a one-off with Andretti or Ganassi at the Indy 500 next year. Makes the super one-off. Marcus Armstrong, I don't think would take a one-off. I think he wants to stay in IndyCar. So I think him making a direct switch to Foyt. I think him trying to get a Ray Hall seat. Maybe McLaren. Yeah, I mean, I think there's options for them. I wouldn't be worried about Marcus Ericsson or Marcus Armstrong losing a full-time ride in the slightest. It just kind of suck for them because they both deserve to be there, but Will Power's Will Power. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Will Power to the 66. We'll just have to see. With that being said, see you in the next video.